Personal life and personal opinions can come back to haunt you sometimes, and these celebrities really did pay the price. Hey guys, I'm your host Lauren, and today we're going to be counting down the top 10 celebrities who were fired after being exposed. Number 10, Chrissy Teigen. Chrissy is now considering herself canceled forever, and her social media presence just hasn't been the same since. The supermodel, who was once called the queen of Twitter, got exposed and canceled on the very same platform. She got in trouble for a comment made towards Courtney Stodden. Courtney first gained fame in 2011 when at the age of 16 they got married to their acting coach who was 50 at the time. Though they are now divorced, but in 2011 it was widely mocked. In the past, people would make jokes at their expense. But it seems Chrissy was the one who was really the leader of the mean tweets sent to Courtney. Courtney has since revealed that all the tweets Chrissy sent them at the beginning of the 2010s, with one saying, "My Friday fantasy, you dirt nap, baby." But in another tweet she wrote, "I hate you." It was also reported that Chrissy told Courtney that they deserve to pass away. When Courtney exposed these tweets, they said in an Instagram video, "It really affected me. It's so damaging when you have someone like Chrissy Teigen bullying." After this story went viral, it was reported that Chrissy's cookware line disappeared from Macy's, and that Bloomingdale's dropped out of their deal as well. Chrissy also bowed out of the planned cleaning products line with Kris Jenner and was replaced as a narrator on the show Never Have I Ever. Since this, Chrissy has admitted she feels depressed because of this and shared in an interview in 2021, "Going outside sucks and doesn't feel right. Being at home alone with my mind makes me depressed and my head race." But she also ended up posting an apology thread on Twitter, which said, "I'm mortified and sad at who I used to be, but that is nothing compared to how I made Courtney feel." Number 9, David Dobrik. The YouTube star and Vlog Squad member sparked outrage after showing evidence of a very problematic behavior within his videos. After SA allegations emerged and the story went viral, David started losing subscribers and sponsorships, even pushing him to release an apology video. Even with this, people weren't convinced. The real hit for viewers was after an insider article posted an account of SA performed by a member of the Vlog Squad, which was part of David's video. Following these allegations, Trisha Paytas even verified that what the victim said was true, even telling her Twitter followers that the evidence is in the video. Another former employee and members claimed that David was a bully who would constantly push people to do things that they didn't want to in order to get content. Because of these allegations, David lost endorsements with companies such as HelloFresh, DoorDash, SeatGeek. The DoorDash spokesperson came forward, and in a statement to NBC News, they shared, "This horrific misconduct is not what DoorDash's values and does not represent the communities we strive to create." Going on to say, "Our thoughts are with those impacted." These situations pushed the YouTuber to take a hiatus following the backlash he was receiving. But after briefly coming back to YouTube, he left once again and now just posts primarily on TikTok. Number 8, Jeffree Star. Allegations made against Jeffree have been pretty rough. Accusations have included resurfaced videos showing up of Jeffree using racist and very offensive language. This has also come around the time that Shane Dawson, a friend and fellow YouTube and collaborator, was being exposed for some pretty insensitive and offensive content as well. The two ended up finding themselves in some pretty hot water after the YouTube creator, Tati Westbrook, accused them of gaslighting and manipulating her into a public feud with James Charles, which ended up with him losing millions of subscribers. But this YouTube drama didn't just stay on YouTube and spread to some pretty bad financial repercussions. Both Shane and Jeffree ended up getting a pretty extreme backlash, and the makeup brand Morphe decided to cut ties with the beauty guru. Morphe posted a statement on Twitter which said, "Today we made the decision to cease all commercial activity related to Jeffree Star and affiliated products." Not long after this statement went out, Jeffree Star Cosmetics released its own statement saying, "We are shocked and extremely saddened by this decision." Number 7, Good Morning America. The Good Morning America affair was the beginning and the end for the co-anchors. Last year, the Good Morning America co-anchors TJ Holmes and Amy Robach both left their partners after having a months-long affair with one another, according to many reports. A source told Page 6 at the time, "They were very cozy in their relationship. That is what is expected. They were very careful behind the scenes to keep their affair a secret." Part of what really put the two in hot water was getting spotted looking pretty close in a bar near ABC News. Not long after that, they were photographed going on a weekend getaway just 2 weeks before they were set to have Thanksgiving with their respective families. After the affair went public, it was reported that they were both temporarily suspended from the show while the network undertook an investigation to make sure the affair didn't violate company policy. But it wasn't long after this investigation that the company came out with a statement that said, "After several productive conversations with Amy and TJ about different options, we all agree it's best for everyone that they move on from ABC News." Seems that it ended up all working out for TJ and Amy though, who are still together and have been reported reported to be going strong and are very much in love. Number 6, Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson, a provocative conservative primetime host, has been recently pushed off of Fox Network. The network came out with a statement that didn't go much into detail about what happened, that said, Fox News Media and Tucker Carlson have agreed to part ways. We want to thank him for his service to the network, as a host and prior to that as a contributor. Apparently Tucker didn't know he was being fired until about 10 minutes before it was announced, and it seemed to have all been decided by Rupert Murdoch, the Fox owner. So what happened? According to the LA Times, his departure is in relation to a discrimination lawsuit that was filed by Abby Grossberg, who was a former senior booking producer. She claimed that she faced sexism and that it was a hostile working environment. Not only that, but Rupert had concerns about Tucker after he shared his idea of the January 6th attack on Congress, arguing that it wasn't a riot. During the show, Tucker showed footage saying it does not show an insurrection of a riot in progress, but mostly peaceful chaos, leading a few to believe that he wasn't credible, and a White House spokesperson agreed. Tucker even promoted a conspiracy theory that the whole thing was provoked by government agents. Even the New York Times were slightly concerned over Tucker and wrote about him last year, saying, Mr. Carlson has constructed and maybe the most racist show in history of cable news, and by some measures the most successful. Number 5, DaBaby. The rapper DaBaby ended up arguing a large community of people after being accused of making homophobic remarks at a music festival in Miami back in 2021. He said to the crowd, if you didn't show up today with HIV or AIDS, or any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make die in 2 to 3 weeks, then put a cell phone in the air. He even added saying, fellas, if you ain't sucking D in the parking lot, put a cell phone in the air. When he realized the negativity he was receiving, he tried to justify it and clarify his views, saying he has gay friends who are disease-free, saying they are not nasty gay junkies. He basically got torn apart for this by the LGBTQ+ community, and as well as Madonna, Elton John, and Dua Lipa. He also had to deal with Boohoo Man, which immediately dropped him. Not only that, but he was kicked out of the 2021 Lollapalooza tour and had a concert cancelled in Atlanta. Number 4, Don Lemon. A firing that some have called a great day for women everywhere was just recently when the CNN anchor was fired after 17 years with the network. This comes after Don said on air that the 51-year-old Republican Nikki Haley was not in her prime. This remark was widely seen as sexist and received quite a bit of backlash. Don issued an apology on the same day, saying how he regretted his comment and agreed to go to mandatory training to address the situation. Don's reputation hasn't been great though. Earlier in April, a report from Variety came out, alleging more accusations of misogynistic behavior. They reported that he called a producer fat to her face, mocked a colleague, and even claiming that Don sent out a threatening text to another person in the workplace, which a representative for Don has denied. He isn't new to controversy though, and faced quite a bit of outrage for saying that the men's soccer team should be paid more than the women's because they are more interesting to watch. Looks like these comments really did catch up to him, but Don was still in disbelief, writing on Twitter, I am stunned. Number 3, Marilyn Manson. A couple that many really didn't see coming was Evan Rachel Wood and Marilyn Manson. After going public with their relationship when Evan was just 19 and Manson was 36, they ended up dating on and off for about 3 years before eventually breaking up. 6 years after the breakup, Evan shared how she experienced SA twice within the relationship. Revealing this during the Me Too movement, she decided to keep their identities private at the time. She explained saying, people are wondering why more women don't come forward sooner. They do not feel safe enough to do so. I'm guilty of this as well because I have not named my abusers and I want to do it when I'm ready. 2 years after this video came out, Evan seemed to be ready to share more about her experiences and wrote a series of emotional Instagram posts. She named Marilyn Manson as the main abuser and went on to describe a pretty upsetting story of manipulation and violence. This resulted in more than a dozen women coming forward with allegations against Marilyn. This led to his record label dropping him, as well as his role in the show American Gods being cut. Not only that, but his manager ended up leaving him and radio stations reduced his airplay significantly. Number 2, Lea Michele. Lea has had allegations surrounding her of being a mean girl for a minute now, but allegations made on Twitter really seem to be the nail in the coffin. She began getting some heat over the past couple of years for being mean-spirited on the set of Glee, which she did later apologize for, but it didn't seem to end there. Her former co-star Heather Morris started speaking up back in 2021 as to why it took so long to come forward with their allegations. She said, we absolutely could have stepped up and gone to Fox executives and said how we felt about the situation, but nobody really did. So now we are living in a culture where it's acceptable to go and do things like that. Whereas I think many people were scared. These allegations against Leah first started to come out in 2020, when Samantha Ware, who also played a role in Glee, spoke out against her on Twitter. She expressed how awful Leah made her time on the Glee set, even saying that the microaggressions made her question her whole career in Hollywood. When the tweet went viral, Leah's partnership with the food service HelloFresh decided to completely end their contract. This tweet ended up inspiring other Glee stars to come forward with their feelings about Leah. Heather wrote on Twitter saying, "Hate is a disease in America that we are trying to cure, so I would never wish that hate to be spread to someone else." With that being said, was she unpleasant to work with? Very much so. For Leah to treat others with the disrespect that she did for so long, I believe she should be called out. An extra for the show took this opportunity to come forward as well, saying that Leah referred to her and other extras as cockroaches. She even went as far as to tell them not to look at her while the cameras weren't filming. Leah never denied these allegations, but instead wrote an apology on Instagram, saying, "While I don't remember ever making this specific statement, that's not really the point. What matters is that I clearly acted in ways which hurt other people." And at number 1, we have Ellen DeGeneres. Now known as the interview that really ended it all for Ellen was the one with Dakota Johnson. Dakota is not one to back down from a fight, and she proved that when she waged a bit of a war on The Ellen Show. In November 2019, Dakota made an appearance on the show to promote her new movies, and it soon went viral for just how cringeworthy the whole thing was. Dakota was accused by Ellen for not inviting her to her 30th birthday party, but Dakota fought back and said, "Actually, no, Ellen, you were invited." Going on to say, "Last time I was on the show last year, you gave me a bunch of S about not inviting you, but I didn't even know you wanted to be invited. I didn't even know you liked me." From there, it really only gets more uncomfortable, so when Ellen announced her retirement from the show, many viewers speculated that it could have all begun with this one interview. But as this interview started gaining more and more views, it ended up opening the door for more allegations against Ellen for just not being the greatest person. Reportedly, the allegations against the workplace environment on the set of her show is really what lost her the viewers. The allegations included intimidation, bullying, and misconduct. This ended up causing an internal investigation and eventually led to the end of her show. When speaking to The Hollywood Reporter about the ending of her show, she said, "When you're a creative person, you constantly need to be challenged. And as great as this show is, and as fun as it is, it's just not a challenge anymore." Regardless of what Ellen says, many fans believe it was the interview with Dakota that was the end of her career. With one fan tweeting, "Ellen trying to convince us that her show is ending because of a lack of creativity. We all know it was Dakota Johnson who really ended it." Thanks for watching, guys. Do you think these celebrities deserved being fired? Let us know in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next one.